afternoon. Um, Today I'm going to share my experience regarding my placement program at Oswald Financial Solution. So this is also the part of assessment for the units professional practice experience 1 and professional practice experience 2 of Master of Professional Accounting professional practice course. So to begin with, I would like to give some highlights of this presentation. So in the beginning, I'll be talking about the company background, including the organized knowledge structure, and then I'll be talking about the internship roles and duties that I had to carry out during my placement program. And I'll be also talking about the skills acquired and learned during my placement program. And I'll be concluding my presentation with some recommendations and conclusion. So to begin with, let me talk briefly about company background. So company was incorporated in 2013 as accountants and tax agents. So the company is based on Darwin and it has its business spread all over the major Australian cities. So the company deals with both individuals and corporate clients, especially small business entities. So the company targets mainly for the cafe and restaurants business, money transfer business, agriculture and food industries, retail stores, cleaning contractors, and taxi drivers. So lately the company is promoting under the brand name of WealthMax Financial Group. So the WealthMax Financial Group basically deals with home loans, finance, accounting and taxation, bookkeeping and payroll, and business coaching. So as you can see here, so this is the logo of Oswald Financial Solution, and thus transferring or changing name to the WealthMax Financial Group. So to move on, I would like to talk briefly about the organized knowledge structure of the company. So the company has a director who is the heart and soul of the company. He's also accountant, tax agent, and mortgage broker. So under him there are two senior officers, the senior accountant and tax specialist, as well as the operational manager for mortgage division. So under senior accountant there is another accountant and an intern, myself, who are under the direct supervision of the senior accountant and tax agent. So moving on to the internship roles and duties, the major role during my internship period was to understand and apply the knowledge to handle accounting and business software and systems such as Handysoft, MyOff, Dropbox, tax agent form, and ASIC portal. So I was also engaged in preparation of individual tax return, bank statement entries and journal entries, and then reconciliation of those accounts, and then administrative work such as handling telephone calls, scanning, and record management. Moving on, I would like to briefly describe about the skills I acquired during my placement period. So I can roughly divide those skills into two categories. Firstly, the academic skills based on the skills and knowledge that I acquired and I need to acquire, which are demanded by the course, the Master of Accounting, Professional Accounting, and other skills can be categorized as the graduate attributes or say personal skills that is very useful in the organizational culture or say in the workplace culture. So describing the first set of skills, that is academic skill. So the major function or the major aim of this internship program was to apply the theoretical knowledge into practical setting. So whatever we have learned in our class or in our lectures about the theories that are to be applied in practical setting or say how normally how we conduct our things, or like accounting processes using the softwares and technologies and all. So the in the same phase, or say like in the same process, I was involved in the work such as tax returns of individuals and corporate clients, as well as the preparation of business activities statement and lodgement, and also the bank statement entry in proper account date and journal entries. So the other major tasks I achieved, or the other major skill I learned, was to use the various counting softwares including Handysoft, Mayo, Practice Manager, and Dropbox. So we can see here, like in the pictures, this is the background for Mayo. We basically use this for payroll. This is the Practice Manager page. We basically use this for journal entries and bank statement entries, and this is the tax agent form we basically use for individual or corporate clients tax return. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, I would like to continue with the skill acquired and learned. And then now this is time for professional skills and graduate activities to discuss. So there are certain skills or the attributes that are demanded in the professional workplaces. So like the communication skills or customer service skills. So those were the major things that I was able to progress in during my placement period. Also, some personal skills or the behavioral skills like confidence, decision-making abilities, and critical thinking abilities. Those were the skills I was able to progress or develop during my placement period. So also I was more self-motivated, and I had developed the leadership skill during my placement period. The other common workplace cultures or other common workplace behaviors like teamwork, disciplines, time management, punctuality, and adaptability, those were the skills that I was able to develop and progress a lot during my placement period. Okay, so let me briefly describe about the reflection. I mean, like now in this phase, I'm going to give you a short account of the incidents, some incidents that happened in my workplace and how I dealt with it and what were the outcomes or the learnings I achieved from them. So firstly, in certain situation, I was given a task to do the data entry, that is the bank statement entry. That was a very huge and tedious task. I was given the thousands of the data entries, and I had to accomplish those tasks within certain given time frame, and I accomplished that on time, accurately, and for that reason I was much appreciated by the mentor for my dedication, hard work, and attentiveness towards the tasks and I was assigned to. So that incident made me more enthusiastic and boost more confidence for me for more challenging tasks. So as we say, every situation is not that easy, and that's why there were also some situations where I made some mistakes, but those mistakes were the learning point for me to improve in future. So for an instance, after I accomplished the task, that was like I was given the task to scan the client's documents and then is to record it in the system and then get rid of those paper file hard copies of the clients. But instead of putting those hard copies in the protected bins for the confidentiality of the client's information, I just made a silly mistake putting those in the rubbish bin, normal rubbish bin, And that is where that is where I realized that there is a big gap between what we learn and what we do. So theoretically, I very well knew that clients information are so crucial and that has to be so confidential, but in practice I did not have that ability to analyze it and then internalize it, and I just happened to throw them in the normal bin. So uh, that made me learn a new lesson. However, I was not that disappointed or say I did not lose hope. That was the point which made me more a lot in for future reference. So moving on to the next slide, I am going to give you the brief account of my progress during the placement program. To start with the yellow line graph here, so that represents the software practical knowledges and skills. So for your information, the in the vertical axis I have given the score for knowledge, skills, expectation, outcomes with full marks 10, and in the horizontal axis I have given the weekly progress in the each week from week 1 to week 12. So moving on to the first yellow line graph here. So in the beginning I had almost zero knowledge about the software, very limited knowledge about the software, but once I went further each week, I gradually learned about the software, and once I reached to the week 12, I was nearly like score 7, that is fair good knowledge on the accounting softwares and skills. So the next one is here, the orange line. So this represents the professional or personal attributes. So I had like scored 3 out of 10 when I started in the first week, but it gradually developed and it also reached to around 7 score, that is around the 70%. So the next aspect is theoretical knowledge. So I had a fair bit of theoretical knowledge about the accounting, but once I started placement, while applying the theory, I also need to make research more on the theories to apply in practical life. So I had to learn a bit. So that happened to be like, okay, there is a slight progress in the theoretical knowledge as well. So while talking about the outcome, so the outcome in the week first represents the outcome. The point in the week first represents the expectations, where the point in the week 12 represents the outcomes. So if we look at the beginning and ending of the placement program, so the expectation almost matches the outcome. That's why I can say that, okay, the placement program was a bit fruitful or fair enough. Okay, this is all about the self-evaluation of the skill graph. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, I'm almost to the end of the presentation. I would like to note some points regarding the recommendation and conclusion. So as we know, nobody is perfect in the world. No organization or no person is perfect in the world. So there are always some space or some room for improvement. So like in every person or organization, even this company has something to improve, or there are also some rooms for improvement. So there are mainly two prominent things I noticed during my placement program. The first thing is about the experience of the multicultural workplace. So that is I found that the organization or the company is lacking the multicultural workplace, as all the employees were from the same cultural background. So I really did not get chance to enjoy the multicultural setting. So the second thing is about the company hardly provided the formal training, which would have developed more personal and professional skills in myself or even for other employees. So these are the two notable things I noticed during the placement period. So at the end, in overall, it was very good opportunity for me to explore my knowledge and apply in the practical life, and I had very good wonderful time during the placement. I would really appreciate both the placement provider, unit coordinator, and all the team members for their support and their support till the completion of my placement. So yes, with this I've come to the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll be wrapping up. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.